So we're going to transition back to football away from the NBA with Chad. He's back. Chad, how you doing?
Great. How we doing?
Doing good. Excited to talk a little bit. We spent a lot of time talking about Tom Brady, and he's in the past now. We got to move on. We got to look forward to the future for Patriots fans. They had an up and down season, I guess we could put it, with Cam Newton. Started off pretty hot, got COVID, and the back half of the season wasn't that good. Chad, what are your thoughts on Cam Newton's season this year?
I feel like with Cam, he's a 2015 MVP, so our expectations for him were, I feel like, a little too high. I mean, I was
Mm,
hyped to see him come to New England. He was definitely like better than some of the options we had.
mm,
Granted, some people wanted Stidham to play.
mm,
Um, I wasn't really on that train. I knew we needed someone with a little history.
mm,
I mean, even like Hoyer, I was like, I don't want Hoyer, but I'd rather sit him over Hoyer, to be fair.
mm,
But back to Cam, I was hyped for him. He coming in, like, he's someone who's super motivated. He wants to play.
mm.
Um, I mean, he played for $1 million. Like, that says a
Yeah,
lot.
it's
Granted, it
insane.
was that or not have a job.
Right,
So it's like
it's
I
fair.
take $1 million too, bud. But but I mean, yeah, I think the hate that he gets based off this season, I think a little bit of that hate for the Pats in total is too much of that's on Cam, and it shouldn't
Mm,
be. Because
mm,
Cam, you got to think he wasn't even on a team for what 86 days or whatever. He's making some video about it, um, and it's during a COVID year after he's already been injured a full season. So
mm.
he didn't have time to really get to know the offense. Our offense sucked to begin with, and
Right, right.
it's also yeah, like who our best offensive player come the season was Cam Newton at quarterback once
Mm,
my boy Edelman went out, which
right.
thank you.
Yeah.
But like once Edelman was gone, like everyone knew what was gonna happen. Like
Mm,
what's our playbook? Oh, Cam run the ball. So all you had to do as a defense was stop Cam from running the ball.
mm,
And like who's he gonna throw to? I mean, granted, Jacoby Myers came into his own. He comes a pretty good wide receiver. He's nowhere near a wide receiver one quite yet. I think he has potential. Nikhil Harry was supposed to be our wide receiver one, didn't pan
yeah.
out, obviously,
Mm,
which was disappointing. But like, I think Cam was dealt a pretty rough hand, and given what he had, he did pretty good. I looked at the stats. He did roughly like 2,700 yards, which isn't terrible. He had
mm,
almost 600 rushing yards, which is good. 12 rushing touchdowns, which is his second highest ever. I think his first season he had like 15.
mm.
Um, and eight passing touchdowns, which is the big one that people
Not
like.
great,
That
yeah.
sucks. Yeah, that's terrible. It's
But,
literally
it,
33rd last year.
it's hard. You miss time, and also when they get into the red zone,
Yeah,
he was running. He wasn't throwing. So he kind of
yeah,
combined the 12 and 8 or 6 or whatever it was, and look at it
yeah.
more that
20
way.
total.
Yeah,
That's what
20
I look
total.
at. Because it's like everyone knows what's going to happen. Cam's
Mm,
running the ball. It's within that like that 10-yard line. Cam's probably running the ball.
mm,
And on top of everything else, we're also a Patriots team that just lost the greatest quarterback of all time after 20 years. So
pretty
kind of
irreplaceable.
hard.
Yeah.
And then 15 players opted out. So it's like
Mm,
he was put in a very bad spot.
mm.
So
Yeah, I think. Would you be open to him coming back for another season? Do you think they need to move on, try to figure it out from there?
I would be open to another season with Cam. I think
Mm,
him having opportunity to at least, you know, have more practice time with the team, and now that he knows the Patriots a little better, New England's a tough place to play as is, at least from what I've heard. That whole thing with Matthew Stafford not wanting to come here.
mm.
Um, that was fun, but
Not
yeah,
what you
New
want to
England,
hear, but
not
it,
what
you
you want
know.
to hear. I mean, I would have loved Matthew Stafford in New England,
Mm,
but anyway, yeah, I want Cam for another season. I think it could be good. We're getting those 15 players back. A lot of that's on the defense, but still, that's 15 players that will only help the team be better.
Mhm.
I mean, there's talks of trading Gilmore away for maybe like someone like Deshaun Watson, which obviously I'm not saying no to that. But
Right. It'd
outside
be
of,
a
you know,
hard trade to
yeah,
pull off, but yeah, that'd be great.
yeah, yeah. I mean, outside of like a franchise quarterback, or maybe the Pats trade up and draft someone,
Mhm.
like one of the top three. I think like Trevor Lawrence, someone in that top three QB class this year.
Mhm.
Um, I'm, I think Cam's not a bad choice as a second year QB with us. I think he could do
Mhm.
well.
Yeah, I feel like if they're gonna go first round, I could definitely see them not moving up, but selecting somebody like Mac Jones out of Alabama, who had a really great year. Obviously, it's the same thing with Tua. It's like the team's so good, so it's like, how do you judge an Alabama
Right.
quarterback? But I think he could be somebody who could work out in New England. Someone who, like, when I think about who they're gonna draft, I keep coming back to him. Like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe that's like a good fit. And it might not even have to be in the first round. He might be a second round quarterback. So, there's certainly options there. But are you out on Stidham entirely? I know a lot of people wanted to see what he had, but I kind of feel like it's almost an indictment on him that with everything going on, he didn't really get much playing time.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like you would have to let him start multiple times, like
Mm,
full games. Like if he played like two games and it was like, depending who the opponent was, but if it was like like an average team, like, that 12 to 20 defensive ranking,
mm,
um, or even higher and he does well, that's great. But I feel like we'd have to see him as our quarterback for more than like half of a game,
yeah.
or more than yeah, like he needs to have a full game under his belt, if not probably like 3 to 4, and
Mm,
see where he is then. If he's still good, then great. But like from what we've seen, it's just been interceptions, turnovers. That's the problem.
yeah. It's no good. It's not what you want.
Nope, not at all.
Oh man. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about I'm sure you saw it over the weekend. Cam Newton was getting jawed at by a kid. A kid was yelling at Cam Newton. Any thoughts on this whole thing?
I saw that the kid came out with an apology.
Yeah.
His grammar was very questionable,
Mm.
but but I mean, good for Cam for not just clapping back at him. He
He did
kept
have
his
a
poise.
all-time lie to be like, I'm rich. It's like, damn, he is rich. So you
It's
can't
like
take that away from him.
it's like yeah, it's like who the hell are you, kid? Like you're just like a high school like junior or
Hmm.
something. Like shut up. Maybe in like 10 years, if you're somebody, this would be a cool moment to look back on. And be like, oh, remember when he
Hmm.
like clapped at Cam Newton when he was in
Yeah.
high school, and now he's like the next Patrick Mahomes or whatever. That'd be cool. But what are the odds of that? I mean, come on.
I don't think very good. I mean,
No.
people want to hate on Cam, but like the dude won a Heisman Trophy. He was the first overall
Yeah.
pick. He won an MVP. He went to a Super Bowl. Like that, not a lot of
Yeah.
quarterbacks have that kind of history and that kind of a
Not at all.
legacy. So yeah, maybe he's at the end of his career now, and it's sad that his career's kind of taken a downturn due to injuries. But like he had a good run as far as like all-time quarterbacks go. He did pretty well.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's a bad quarterback. I mean, he's like one of the first people you think of when you think of a running quarterback. I'm like, oh,
Mm,
your Cam Newtons, um,
yeah, and almost
Russell
a different
Wilsons.
style. Like
Yeah.
oftentimes people call the running quarterback a very like fast, a Michael Vick, Lamar Jackson, but Cam
Hmm.
Newton, especially in his like prime and earlier years, he was running people over a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
a very unique player, and not feel like this is like an in memoriam of his career. We're not saying his career is over. He could come back with the Patriots. He could come back with another team, but tough for the kid to come at him like that, and tough for Cam Newton because like, what do you do?
I mean, I think he handled it as one would.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't say anything and keep your head up.
All right. So I guess is there any? You talked a little bit about Jacoby Myers. Let's talk a little bit about Nikhil Harry. What is happening with him? Is he just a bust? What is this?
I don't know. Like, I didn't know much about him coming out of college. I knew he was some. I mean, he was our first round draft pick.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I recently saw like a list of that draft class's grades, and he was the lowest with a D minus. It's
Yeah.
like, oof, that stinks.
It's
But
especially bad because DK Metcalf was drafted after him, and he's so good.
right?
So it's
Oh,
just like,
imagine if they were switched. Oh my God.
yeah.
But yeah, I feel like as a fan, I expected him as our first round pick to
Mm-hmm.
be like he's our wide receiver one. He's going to be right next to Edelman and that like who we go into here. He's going to
Mm-hmm.
be more of a like deep guy, someone who can outmuscle someone, and it just didn't pan out. Granted, I mean he has had like a couple good games that I can think
Mm-hmm.
of. Some catches that are like damn, but like
Right.
on a game to game basis, he just hasn't panned out.
Yeah. I think so. It's hard, especially with receivers, because some come out so hot and others really struggle. But if all I can say is Devontae Parker had like 3 years, maybe 4 years, where he did not play much,
Yeah.
and when he did play, he didn't play that well. And when he's not injured, which is pretty rare, if we're being honest, he is a very, very good receiver. So I don't think
Mhm.
Nikhil Harry's career is over by any means. I think he can certainly have a bit of a comeback here.
Yeah, this is what his year three we're going into. I think it
Yep.
was 2019.
Mm,
Yeah, so I mean, maybe he's the Devontae Parker type, just explodes year three, four. I
yeah,
would
it
love it.
takes a little while, but
Yeah,
we'll get there. Oh man, all right. So is there anything else you want to talk about for the Patriots before we get on out of here?
yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting that we're talking about this today because just today Cam said he thinks he's, that whole like, oh, I'm way better than some of these guys in the NFL. And I forget who was interviewing him. They're like, where do you rank yourself? And Cam's like, well, I'm definitely not number 32. So, in my
Okay. So
opinion, I think he's somewhere in the middle,
mhm.
but it's tough to put him in like a top 10.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, I totally agree with him. He should be a starting quarterback in the NFL. It's
Mhm.
just where is up in the air right now. But I mean, odds are he's going to end up back with the Pats, which is fine
Right.
by me.
Oh man. All right, Chad. Where can they find you online?
Find me on Instagram at ChadleyJP, or you can find me on Twitter at ChadPerry25, right below me.
There it is. All right. So, Chad, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll see you next time, probably soon. When we have more football stuff to talk about, more Patriots stuff to talk about. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and yeah, see you guys all in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for checking out that clip from Wicked Good Sports. If you want the entire show, search us on iTunes or Spotify, or just wait till Friday when we drop the entire show in one block on YouTube. If you're interested in the channel, why don't you check out some of our other clips? We will see you in the next one.